What's going on, everyone? We're going to welcome you back to another episode of Pick'em, which is brought to you by People's Bank, Sharon Amon, Rodan and Fields, Maggie Maid, and Brandy's Hope. Going to jump right into the action, starting with last week's games and picks, starting with our game of the week, which was Jackson Academy taking on Jackson Prep. Both of these teams were undefeated, and like most of us, except for Ethan, chose Prep handled this one pretty easily. What do you guys?
It's obvious. Prep's one of the best. They're right up there. Them and MRA, obviously the best two in private school football right now.
Yeah.
I don't see where you had that pick.
Up until the fourth quarter, it was a 8-point game. So,
Jerry obviously is.
I thought Kinky Dent could pull it out, but he didn't.
This game was easy for me. Prep is just too good. I don't see anyone competing with Prep. I think they finished the season undefeated.
Moving on to the next game, you have Simpson taking on Columbia. Simpson handled this one really well. Simpson ended up winning the game 26-8.
Yeah, Simpson handled it, but they did give Columbia a couple of too many chances right in the third quarter. I mean, Columbia, they were not a good team, but Simpson handled what they had to do. But I thought Simpson could have beat them a lot easier. But overall, Simpson they beat them physically, mentally, all across.
I chose Columbia, but from my understanding, I'm pretty sure this game was just like the PCS game. Randy Marone, did Columbia not miss a few wide open plays?
Yeah, they had a lot of. Whenever a wide receiver was open, he was getting overthrown. Whenever the ball was on the money, he wasn't catching it. It was just garbage all around on the offensive side of the ball for them, and it was just pitiful.
Simpson has a big test with Hartfield this week.
I see. I saw Simpson winning this game, but I thought this game was going to be within a couple points. Simpson really showed me a lot by coming out here and stomping Columbia like this. They gave them too many chances, but they didn't let the chances get away from them. They kept it in the zone of it. It was their game the whole game, and they won this by a lot. Simpson did a really good job.
One thing that just stood out was how physical they were. It was one of the most physical games I've seen this year.
Steven isn't here tonight, but he chose Prep and Simpson as well.
Yeah. Moving on to the next game, you have Velma Jackson taking on McGee. This was actually a really close game, a lot closer than I predicted. Velma Jackson ended up pulling out the win, 28-24. This was a back-and-forth game, but I think the key thing that stands out in this loss for McGee was that Velma Jackson had 5 turnovers in the game. But the Velma Jackson quarterback, Antavius Willis, he single-handedly defeated this McGee team.
McGee, they hung with them. Not only did they hang with them, they had the lead there for a little while. And Velma Jackson was a way better team in my opinion. Right now they're top 5 in 3A, and they just let McGee hang around there too long, and they almost just squandered that whole game away. But it showed who the more talented team was.
McGee had 2 picks. From my understanding and from what I read, they were very good as far as stopping the pass. But one thing that I was surprised about was McGee not stopping the run. And the way their defensive scheme was all year, I figured that, of course, Velma Jackson would win because the freak of a quarterback they had. But McGee just didn't do as much as far as stopping the run game as I pictured they would.
McGee proved a lot in this game. I really saw Velma Jackson coming here and stomping them, but that didn't happen. They proved a lot. I think they should have won this game. They had 5. Velma Jackson turned over the ball 5 times. That alone you should never take away the ball 5 times and not win the game. Okay, they couldn't capitalize, and that's what made them lose the game. But McGee did a lot better in this game than I had ever thought about.
What was Steven's pick for this game?
Steven had McGee.
Had McGee winning. Now moving on to the last game from last week, you have Mendenhall taking on Newton County. Got to give it to Mendenhall. They absolutely proved me wrong. I thought that this Newton County offense was a lot better than it was, and I also thought that this Mendenhall defense wasn't as good as they were. But they definitely changed some things up this past week in practice. You could tell didn't have nowhere near as many missed tackles. They were pressuring the quarterback all night. They were stopping the run. Secondary did a great job, and Mendenhall ended up winning this game 34-3. They did not give up a single touchdown the entire game.
Yeah, you got to give it to Coach Jenkins. He really did what he had to do this week. Let's just see what they can do from here on out.
Yeah.
But you've got to give it to them this game. This defense came out and they just manhandled this team all game long. And were they 1-0 in district now?
1-0 in district.
That's big going into it. But I just want to see how they do for the rest of the season.
Mendenhall, no question, had a good game this past Friday. Secondary, like Grayson said, was good. They either had, I think, I know for sure 2, possibly 3 picks. Montrell Walker had a 70-yard interception return, and Keyshawn and Christian Allen kind of ran the offense, combining for 6 touchdowns, 3 apiece. So, Alex.
When I was writing my notes for this game, I only had to write one note, and that's Mendenhall's defense stout. Mendenhall's defense is insane. They're a lot better than I thought they were. Like I said, they had a bad game against Raleigh, but they definitely bounced back, and they shut out Newton County. I think a lot of people give a lot of credit to Mendenhall's offense, but I think that defense is right there with them.
I agree.
I think their defense is just as good as the offense, and Mendenhall is a powerhouse.
I think what it is Mendenhall's offense is no doubt one of the best in 4A, if not the best, and the defense don't really get as much credit because, when you have an offense averaging, 40-something points a game, the defense don't really get that much for it.
Now moving on to this week's games and picks, starting with our game of the week. Want to thank everyone who contacted us and sent us their high school's games this week to be featured. After we looked at it, we decided that the game of the week this week would be the divisional matchup between Sumrall and Lawrence County. Sumrall is 7-0 on the season, and Lawrence County's 5-2. I think that this game is a lot closer than people do think. I think Sumrall does come out with the win, but I believe that if Sumrall can stop the Lawrence County rushing attack, then they'll have no problem beating Lawrence County. The player to watch in this game is definitely Dennis Jackson, and I'll let these guys kind of break down more of who he is. But like I said, I've got Sumrall winning this game by about 3 to 7 points.
I want to point out that I think Dennis Jackson is the best quarterback in 4A. He is insanely good. Go watch his highlights and your mouth will drop to the floor. He is super good, and he's the reason that they beat Lawrence County. Sumrall is a team to watch that a lot of people are sleeping on, I feel like. They beat Purvis by a lot. That just shows that they're no one to mess with, and they killed Lawrence County in this game, in my opinion.
Steven's not here, so Steven has Sumrall in this game. He says, look for Dennis Jackson to have a big game. And I'm going to choose Sumrall as well. Like Alex said, one of the best QBs in 4A. Dude's a freak. But I don't think, like Grace said, I don't think it's some blowout. Lawrence County they have a strong offensive line, and I think it boils down to whether or not Sumrall's defense can keep up. Randy, you got a little bit more depth.
I haven't made very many bold picks this season. I've went by just the basics of it, and but this one I'm gonna make a bold pick. I'm gonna pick Lawrence County. It's a home game. It's homecoming for them. I think they're gonna come out. They got a strong rushing game. They're averaging almost 300-something yards a game. Look out for Callan Cooper. He's gonna have a lot of rushing yards. Right now, he's averaging 200-something. He's got 11 touchdowns on the year. But I think Lawrence County's going to be able to stop Sumrall and Dennis Jackson. I don't think they've played much of anybody, really. So I got Lawrence County pulling it out.
Now moving on to our next game, starting with Simpson Academy taking on Hartfield Academy. This Simpson team, they're hot. Right now, it's been tough for teams to stop them. We saw that last week with Columbia. Hartfield's not good. They have a record of 1-7. They're averaging right at like 13 points a game. And I've got this Simpson team winning big this week.
It's not even much to comment on it. It won't even be a fun game to watch. Simpson's going to blow them out.
Simpson said it themselves. Hartfield's their biggest opponent in the upcoming weeks. But just like saying Hartfield win is the sickest thing I've ever heard. Simpson Academy will JB will be in first quarter. Bad.
Yeah, Hartfield's terrible. Simpson wins this game by a lot. But I do want to point out, I think they might be getting a little too ahead of themselves.
Yeah.
I think they might be looking past Hartfield and looking on to more games. And I think they're getting a lot of people back. They're doing a lot better, but I just hope they don't let that get to their head.
Yeah.
Because after the game, I heard a lot about how, they were almost joking about Hartfield and everything.
Lamar's lurking.
Lamar's lurking, so I wouldn't be joking too much. And then again, Hartfield, they're not good. They're absolutely terrible. But no team is worth being looked over.
4 weeks ago, I'd have chose Hartfield in this game.
No one, you don't look over anyone. So Hartfield with that 1-7 record might just sneak something in.
They could. I don't see it happening.
But I'm just taking Simpson.
Yeah. And Steven does have.
Steven has Simpson.
Steven has Simpson. Moving on to our next game, we have McGee taking on Raleigh. This McGee team is definitely looking to try to get their first win in district. That way they can start eyeing towards the playoffs, trying to get like a playoff run going. This Raleigh team, they have a record of 2-5. And I think that what boils down to this game is Chase Rankin and that McGee defense. If they can stop Cartese Nixon, the running back for Raleigh, who had a huge game against Mendenhall, I think that McGee handles Raleigh with ease. I think that they'll be able to put up a lot of points, and if they can stop him, I've got McGee winning big.
I think both of these teams are on the brink of losing their season altogether. I think this is a make-or-break game for both of them. Whichever one loses, I don't see doing anything up for the rest of the year. I think it's going to just kill all the hope they have for them. But right now, McGee's a good, talented team, but Raleigh, they've shown me what they can do, and I think Raleigh's going to be able to pull this out.
I think Raleigh's already lost their season, 2-5. But I will say, McGee's defense came up big when it came to passing against Velma Jackson, but that is one thing we saw against Mendenhall, that Raleigh does not have a passing game. But like Grace said, I think Chase Rankin and the McGee defense has a big game. However, it will not be enough to stop Raleigh. Raleigh wins this.
I think Raleigh is very overrated. They just beat Crystal Springs, which isn't saying anything at all. And then they had a close game in Mendenhall, and to which Mendenhall played terribly, so that's not anything to hang your hat on either. Raleigh is overrated. They're not a very good football team. McGee disposes of them pretty easily. And like Chase Rankin, people like that, they're just going to stomp all over Raleigh. It won't be close.
Now moving on to our last game, you have the 6-0 Mendenhall Tigers taking on the 4-2 Northeast Lauderdale Trojans. This is a conference game. This Northeast Lauderdale team, they're definitely going to be better than Newton County, but like I said, Mendenhall definitely proved me wrong last week, and I'm not going to go against them this week. I think Mendenhall wins this game big. I think that defense, especially after holding Newton County to no touchdowns last week, I think they're just going to build off that momentum, and that offense, until somebody can show me that they can be stopped, then I don't think they can.
I'm going to just follow up with what you said pretty much. Until somebody can just show me they can absolutely beat Mendenhall, then it's going to be tough for me to pick against them right now. Derek Jenkins, he did what he does best, and he got them back right. And I just don't want to see them overlook this game.
Yeah.
They got West Lauderdale next week, and that's going to be a very big challenge. But I think they'll be able to pull this game out.
I didn't go real in depth as far as the stat-wise of the offense last week. Mendenhall's offense did exactly what I said they would last week, and that was air the ball out. Christian had 2 passing touchdowns, both of them to Keyshawn Collar. Both of them was, 48 yards?
50 yards,
yeah,
something like that.
Bombs, just good passing. And he also led the team in rushing. He had 10 rushes for 86 yards and a touchdown on the ground. It's kind of hard to stop that. And Northeast Lauderdale just doesn't have the weapons to do it. The defense stops them. I think it's another 4 to 5 possession game Mendenhall's way.
I agree. I don't think Mendenhall has anything left to prove, honestly. Mendenhall, at first, everyone was saying, well, how will they deal with adversity? They went to Raleigh, started off really bad, played a close game, dealt with their adversity, and toppled Raleigh. Then it was, Mendenhall's defense isn't good enough to play and be good enough. Mendenhall went to Newton County, absolutely destroyed them. Newton County didn't even score a touchdown. I don't think there's any more thing to say about Mendenhall, any more rock to throw at them. I think they're that good, and it's going to take a really great team to beat them. And I don't think there's a team on Mendenhall's schedule that will be able to stop them until someone proves me wrong. They beat Northeast Lauderdale by a lot, and I think Northeast Lauderdale wants to be in the game after half.
And also, we didn't say, but Stephen, obviously he plays for Mendenhall, so he doesn't choose between the Mendenhall games, but he also has McGee beating Raleigh this week. Kind of going back over our picks real quick, starting with our game of the week, Sumrall and Lawrence County. I've got Sumrall. I think that this is a one-possession game, but I think Sumrall does take it.
Well, I think this game is going to be won in the trenches. You know, this running attack by Lawrence County, I think it's going to win it for them. Their offensive line is impeccable. You got Oliver Moorman. He's got 49 pancake blocks on the season, that's unheard of. And we're only halfway through the season, so I think they're going to be able to win it.
I think I do have Sumrall winning. Sumrall has, after that stat ran, it kind of makes me want to change my mind, but Sumrall has, they're undefeated. They've annihilated just about every opponent except Weston. So the defense looks pretty stout, but this offensive line for Lawrence County might put up a good enough fight to where Lawrence County pulls it out. But I think Dennis Jackson overcomes some run game from Lawrence County.
Yeah, in my opinion, Dennis Jackson is just too good. He carries his team to a win.
Moving on, Simpson taking on Hartfield. It's no question. We all have it. Simpson's going to win this game.
Simpson's going to beat Delo High School. Hartfield. Simpson's going to win.
Hartfield's not good. Next, McGee taking on Raleigh. I got McGee winning this one, and I do think that the difference maker is Chase Rankin in that defense.
I don't know. It'll be a good game, but I'm going to stick with my original pick.
I'm going to reverse my pick. I just remembered I saw a post earlier, and McGee leads just about every category, I think, in 3A and all across the state of Mississippi in defense as far
defensive
as
touchdowns and
interceptions. And I think that they're going to go back to that defensive scheme where they just load the box, and I think that McGee stops Riley.
Riley is not as good as a lot of people say. McGee wins this game easy.
Moving on to our last game, Mendenhall taking on Northeast Lauderdale. Until somebody can show us that they can beat Mendenhall, it's no question that we've all got Mendenhall. I mean, they're too good right now.
And Michael Jr. is set to return next week against West Lauderdale, but it is still no guarantee. That's just what I've been told.
Well, that's going to do it for all of us here at Pick'em. Want to thank you guys for watching, and also want to thank our sponsors, Maggie Made Designs, People's Bank, Share Name and Rodan and Fields, and Brandy's Hope. Be sure to check our Facebook page out on Friday nights, and you'll see live updates from all these games and a couple more throughout the state. Alex is going to tell you all about a new segment that we have coming out this week on GroupCast Sports.
Yeah, we have a new segment coming out later this week. It's called Player Insider. We sit down and talk to players all around the state, you know, get really inside their head, pick their brain. We sit down one-on-one and we discuss some things about it, you know.
That'd be me and Alex.
And you get a feel for how they're feeling, you know, not just football, but how they go about their life, football, everything in it. It's really going to get a chance for everyone to get to know the players a lot better.
And our first interview will be with Michael Jr., the star running back who's out for Mendenhall. We're going to talk to him, and I hope you guys enjoy.
I want to say that this Friday, of course, you two will be at Mendenhall, and I'll be at Lawrence County, but finally we have our microphone situation handled.
Yes.
You'll be able to, it'll be perfect. We've got new microphones for everything. We're going to have a lot of, we're really trying to upgrade our quality.
Yeah. Want to be sure to let everyone know, remind you all to like us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's where you'll see all episodes of Pick'em and Player Insider. Want to be sure to let everyone know that if you want your high school to be featured as the next featured game of the week, all you have to do is contact us. You can go to our Facebook page and message us, or you can go to our website, which is www.groupcastsports.com. Just click contact and you'll find all of our information right there. Like I said, that's going to do it for all of us here at Pick'em. Want to thank you guys for watching.